Well, hey,
back.
one thing I will say, I am so glad that we can have this discussion and be friends.
Yep.
It feels good.
Oh no, somebody disagrees with me. I must draw a line and never talk to them again.
All right. 3, 2.
The power of one. The power of two. The power.
Zeitgeist Zealots. Everyone, welcome to Zeitgeist Zealots. I'm Forrest.
I'm dying inside. I'm also Major.
I'm Robbie.
As a Star Wars fan, I've been dead for years. Matt.
Ah!
Oh God.
Did George Lucas kill your childhood, Matt,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
did this episode
George
kill
Lucas. So this killed
Murdered
my adult wanting to get back into it and get my children into it,
Mhm.
and it destroyed the hope that they built up with Andor.
Not the hope.
Wait, but will there be a New Hope?
He said it! He said it! There it is! There it is!
The only way for me to solve this crisis is to be Superman 4, The Quest for Peace.
Oh, that's why they call it that.
He's coming for it.
Andor season 2, maybe.
Well, they just announced today, I think, that possible title for the new episode 10 of Star Wars, the new movie starring Rey, because that worked so well the first time around.
Uh-huh.
It's gonna be called It's gonna be called A New Beginning.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's
literally
better
A New
than like
Beginning.
Orange Harvest. Yeah, it's a New Hope was called Blue Harvest, so an Orange Harvest. Guys, we are gonna break down the Acolyte episode 2, Revenge and Justice, and Acolyte episode 3.
yeah,
but first, let's get into some news, if that's all right. And before this podcast really starts popping off and we're all happy, I want to take a second to shout out to Benny, the comic historian. If you're on YouTube, if you love comic books, you might know him. He's been an incredibly successful YouTube channel and really just a huge impact on my life. When I was driving an hour and a half to 2 hours one way to work, right? So 3 to 4 hours of work a day, I could only get
That's
through
a rough
that
life, dude.
It was a rough life. I love my job,
Real rough.
but it was retail, and the drive was long, the drive was shitty, and Benny, the comic historian, he got me through it. What he used to do, I highly recommend going checking out his channel. He's so good at reading comic books. So he'll break down the comic book, he'll read it to you, right, and then he'll encourage you. If you really enjoyed it, go out and get the full issue. When I was poor, and I couldn't afford comic books in college, that's who I listened to when I was driving 3 hours.
Marvel Unlimited. Marvel Unlimited.
You said
It's
you
like,
had somebody tell it to you.
Yeah, that's
Forrest,
exactly
you've been
him.
pushing the Marvel Unlimited for years.
I've been reading Marvel Unlimited since like college. So I've literally read like more Marvel stuff than DC stuff because DC didn't have that option.
So
and I probably still do read more Marvel stuff than DC just because of Marvel Unlimited. I think it's only $10 a month.
Forrest, we're putting you on the board of directors.
You can just get Comixology.
They should. I've
But
been
anyway.
a loyal customer for over 15 years.
No, I wasn't going to talk about this news story, but a news story just came out that a quarter, over 25%, it's 27%, over a quarter of Americans said in a recent survey that they've admitted to skipping meals in the past week due to the cost of inflation and rising prices of groceries. So shout out to them.
Yeah.
Look, entertainment is expensive. These streaming services keep going up and up. If you love comics, listen to us. We are obnoxious, but if you really love comics, check out the Comic Historian. God bless you, Benny. I love you. I hope you're in a better place.
For you, though.
I've had breakfast in like 20 years. I just have coffee.
Well, way to rub it into the poor's face, Forrest. God, that is not how you run a podcast. Are you kidding
I have
me?
a big lunch. I'll just skip dinner too.
All right. Anyway, the newest season of The Boys is a huge breath of fresh air. The writing is so damn good, and we're not gonna spoil it, right? All I'm saying is subscribe now if you want us to talk about The Boys. We're gonna talk about The Boys next week. Star Wars, we've endured a lot of shit. We've endured Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Book of Boba Fett. We're done with it. This podcast is fucking done with it. We're done with Star Wars. This is I am trying so hard, but I can't do it. I can't spend 6 of the 7 days of my week texting these guys, begging them to watch your shitty fucking product. Okay, so we're moving on. We're going on to The Boys,
A little bit of a struggle there.
and then Hot D is coming out. House of the Dragons. Fucking subscribe. Make sure you fucking catch that. We are going to be awesome. We're going to bring the heat on some good Eving shows. So, guys,
Nice pun.
thank you. This is the last time I want to. Well, not the last time I want to talk about Star Wars. I want to bash Star Wars in this podcast for the rest of my life. But the last time we're going to talk about the Acolyte until the end.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry, guys. I can't ask you guys
For 7
to
more
watch
episodes?
this. Yeah. No, I can't do it.
Is it 9 or 8? It's only like 5.
Look,
right?
if it
Only
doesn't,
5 left.
it ends at
8.
3. It ended at 3. If we're going to be
Oh,
honest.
okay.
Okay.
Just like
Isn't it
Just like the
bad as
Blade-
She-Hulk?
Just like the Blade director, that shit is fired. You're fired. Also,
the Blade lost. With this new news item we were discussed, Blade lost yet another director
yeah, what is that? Like
this week.
14 in a row? That's
Well, they've
that's
had
a
like
crying
I think
shame.
it's only the second. I think it's actually only the second director because they've just had way more screenwriters work on the script. They've had the guy from True Detective to the guy who worked on Blue Eye Samurai. Look at the script, and they have like someone new look at the script, but it seems like it's all for nothing if they don't have a director. But I want to sort of like pigeon-tail into the Blade because they got to get Blade off the ground.
Well,
They're Midnight Suns.
First, have you heard about the recent news about the former director of Blade?
He got cut.
He got cut.
Yeah.
Dang it, Forrest. Dang it. You know me.
So the Midnight Suns movie, if they ever want to get that up and going, they got to get Blade established. They got to establish Ghost Rider. They already have Doctor Strange established.
It's all done, dude. They're gonna reboot.
Moon Knight?
They're gonna reboot the
Moon Knight's already been
MCU.
established.
No, they're gonna
Let's
reboot.
hope.
Moon Knight was established.
So,
Sure, yeah. They
I know,
great
I know,
job
I know, but as I'm
building
saying, they
pillars
don't-
on sand.
although I don't think he was in the original Midnight Suns run. I think it was like Blade, Doctor Strange, Ghost Rider, and the Darkhold Redeemers, which I don't think they're going to ever do a show about them. Although they do a show about frickin' Echo, they should do a show about the Darkhold Redeemers. Just saying.
Echo, the show Echo was a crime. You know what else was a crime? Optimus motherfucking Prime stealing a car in Texas. Have you guys heard about this? Just a little 5-second news flash. We're going to hit some rapid headlines here. Guys, a man named Optimus Prime was arrested in Texas for GTA.
I wonder if that's on his birth certificate or.
It's his damn name, dude. Someone is so cool. Also, you weaves
I
out
read that
there.
article. It's
Yeah,
funny.
it's so great. Also, this is a shout out. This is a quick, not so much a news story as it's news to me, and this is a special dedication to Robbie over here. Robbie, did you know that the lead singer of Blur, aka Song 2, one of our favorite songs growing up, woohoo, right? Did you know that's the same guy who leads Gorillaz?
Oh.
You know, Feel Good
Yeah,
Inc., Clintwood.
like, really?
Yeah, and
Really?
did
You're just now finding this out?
yeah, Damon
I'm hearing it too
Albarn,
for the first time. Who the guy from what?
the Blur and the Gorillaz is the same guy.
What's Blur? What's
Blur, it's most famous for their song called Song 2, and it's the Woohoo song. Da na 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 na. Woohoo! Yeah.
Okay.
And I say na na na.
That
Yeah.
is interesting. That is
Isn't that
interesting.
now?
Okay.
Matt, you prickly son of a bitch, since you want to come in here real high and mighty, I just want you to feel old for a second. He's 56 now. Yeah. The Song 2 guy is 56. Can you imagine? Yeah. The 56-year-old guy's just making gorilla tracks, and we're just all banging along like we're still in high school. I'm happy. I'm feeling
No,
sad
when you
and
have
old
a
now.
I mean, it
You do
doesn't
have
just
a
go
point
away.
there. I did have a moment recently where one of my favorite songs from the 90s, Natural One by Full Complosion, the video, it came out like 96, 97, and they're in their early 20s, and they are totally high while filming the whole thing, and it is a silly video. I saw
Silly
them
video.
recently. They came back together to play, and they're all like really old men, and they all have like gray hair, and they're all fat, and they're just all like, I'm like, wow, what happened to these guys? And like, wait a second, the 90s was 30 something years ago. If they were 20, and I do the math, they're like 58, 59 now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, shit, I'm getting old.
Yeah. Thank you, Weird Al, for dyeing your hair. Because if his hair was like as white as it probably should be, like Gandalf's beard. You know how I would just be so depressed singing along to Poodle Hat.
Yeah, dude. Once Weird Al goes gray, it's done.
Yeah, thank you for
We're
nine.
all just like
We're all just old.
Like, all right, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
So
That's so
I'm trying to
funny.
think anything else new in the news.
All
this
right.
week?
I have one last thing before we just really dig deep into the Acolyte episode 2, and more importantly, episode 3. And that's, I think it's kind of really fucking weird that we have billionaire elites that go around once a year, they go to California and they worship an owl statue, right? We have video proof. It's on YouTube.
I suspect,
and
Major, I actually have a theory about that.
Are we married? Are you my wife?
Have you ever heard? Have you ever heard of the Eleusinian mysteries?
Yes.
Back in the Greek days, where they would take a cup and I believe that's still going on.
I'm familiar. Do you know about the purple tongue?
No.
Okay, so in the ancient Greek texts and a lot of ancient texts, they talk about the purple. Sometimes it's purple fingers, sometimes it's purple tongue, but that's because they did the drug so much. Whatever this purple drug was, the substance, they call it the purple. That's what they believe the oracle was getting high on in ancient Greece. Delphi oracle.
Of course.
Yeah, the purple.
I mean, how else do you reach the center of the universe? You can't travel there physically. You got to get there some other way.
Expand your mind.
I do have a theory. I do have a theory that
Let's go.
The Eleusinian mysteries are still ongoing in weird.
The Illuminati. Yeah, like the way I was. Yeah, what I was talking about.
Yes.
Yes.
And it could be, and if so, if that is what they are doing, I mean, good or bad, it just is what it is.
It is what it is. But that's a hypothetical. I'm talking about real life proof. I'm talking about a man who shall not be named snuck into one of
Voldemort?
these. Yes, snuck into Bohemian Grove, right? And we know that these billionaires are going there. We know these billionaires are worshiping owl statues, even if it's for an hour, right? No one is talking about this for 30 years. NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, CNN, MSNBC. Someone link me down in the comments below a single news article about this. It's ridiculous. Like, all right, fine, whatever. We'll just go back to this culture war bullshit with the Acolyte. But I just want to mention before we talk about the gayest Star Wars of all time that there's actual weird shit going on.
All the Roosevelts were, went to the. I mean. It's been a thing for a long time. Like John Muir went out there, so it's not like an evil group of people necessarily. It's just leaders who get together and.
I didn't say they were evil. I don't think I ever said they were evil. No. I just said they were billionaires. Now that might mean you're evil, right? How does one acquire $1 billion ethically and morally? That's a question for another day in another podcast.
Ask Elon and his Dogecoin.
I'll tell you, it's not an emerald mine, according to him. All right, guys, Acolyte, the episode 2. For those who don't know, there's an urban legend or whatever. The online people say that Elon started off with the wealth from his dad's emerald mine, and then there's other articles saying that there are no records that his dad's ever owned an emerald mine, but there's one website that says they found records. And then it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I fell asleep, and I don't really care how Elon got rich, so I never followed up with that. Do it if you want to.
Yeah, well, I mean, we know he didn't start out. I mean, everyone who started out,
I think Bill Gates. I think Bill Gates even had like a loan from his mom to start Microsoft or something.
Holler.
A list of like.
It wasn't his garage, I'm sure.
That was Bezos who started in his garage.
They all start in the garage. Don't tell me Bill Gates wasn't smoking pot in his mom's garage when he came up with the idea for the personal computer. Hey, man, what if this thing that took up a whole building only took up like a foot?
And it was like not hard.
Speaking of not hard,
what's the opposite of
the Acolyte? Soft Microsoft. Oh, Microsoft. Yeah, you're making a pun. I thought you were making a segue. Awkward.
Yeah. So the Acolyte, this show's really bad.
All right, episode 2,
I think-
Revenge and
yeah.
Justice. Let's speed run this. Like the one time in episode 1, the only time in Star Wars history where Jedi sped run. Use the Force to speed run. Let's speed run through this second episode to get to what is going to be the last Star Wars we might possibly ever cover.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
I'm glad I didn't spend time watching it.
oh my god.
Oh.
I think
Oh, Tip, your
the
time will
issue-
come. This isn't just a podcast of torture Matt to watch terrible content. I want to torture all you motherfuckers. I will get you on the next round. Don't you worry. Not the next round of the boys. The next round of shitty shows.
Oh,
I think
okay.
What were we saying, Matt?
Thank you.
The inherent flaw is that Disney is trying to be edgy. You know, we can take away pushing whatever agenda, quote unquote, that they're doing, which I don't care about. But they're trying to be edgy, and they're trying to make it out as if Jedi are the bad guys.
Oh, yes.
And that's like, Jedi are supposed to be the good guys, and what if they're the bad guys?
But that's been a meme for 30
And I think-
years.
It's not anything like crazy. We know that they were ultimately inept because they let Palpatine take over.
They're baby
and
they're baby kidnappers. They
but,
as soon as a year, 6 months to a year old, right? As soon as there's a little force, they can sense the force. They'll kidnap. They'll steal the. I mean, they don't kidnap. They steal the baby right out of the clutches of the mom. As soon as they're off the
Well, do they
off
ask
the teat.
permission?
So we'll talk about this bad writing. We'll get
I'm
to the bad
right
writing.
now.
Let's go back to Matt.
They're trying to be edgy, and they have a potential to be edgy enough where they make Saul the Sith Lord or Sith trainer or whatever he's supposed to be, and they won't. And that's going to be the worst part about all this.
No, dude, the Sith Lord is fucking her BFF, the Kirkland version of Ezra Miller. You know, the apothecary killer.
The poison.
Yeah,
poison guy.
that's definitely the skinny wanker. That's definitely the skinny wanker in Black from the first episode.
So, from a high level, both episode 2 and episode 3, before we get into any details, the cinematography sucks.
Hmm.
The set design sucks. The acting, which I can get from some of the Jedi being very like cookie cutter, very like proper, very like because they're Jedi. Nobody can act. The dialogue is atrocious.
So bad.
I think in episode 3 we literally get a line that says, "But the Jedi are bad." Like,
No, the Jedi are good.
Yeah,
The
and then she says there
storytelling.
are no good. There's no good and bad. There's only power,
Then how can
and
it-
those
then how
who
can the
want to
Jedi be
grab it.
bad then if there's no good or bad? Yeah.
so the storytelling is not good either. And here's what really upsets me is we have episode 1 and we have these questions that come about and we have this kind of like episode, and then we have episode 2, which we're kind of linking episode 1 to episode 2 now, but then different circumstances occur. Well, episode 1, it's a murder mystery. Who's murdering the Jedi? Episode 2,
instantly
we
solved.
immediately answer that question, right? And then episode 3, we're like, hey, episode 3, we have a box episode where we set up this intriguing, hey, we know who the murderer is now. We know the other 2 Jedi. How do we split it up to 5 more episodes? And we have this little box episode
Yeah.
in which we see why episode 2 was justified. And I leave episode 3 for a storytelling point going, why would this, spoiler, Jedi commit suicide over the bad things that happened? So the
writing's
writing
so bad.
is so bad. So at every single level, except for one, which is once again the soundtrack and except for one particular scene, and the sound effects, which I don't know who they're hiring for that. They need to keep them. But every single
Audio's
thing about this show on a high level failed.
Every
So
single
even
part.
before getting into details,
Yeah.
every single part. We have diabetes Jedi. We have, you know, when
That's
when
not
Jedi
discipline.
must
That's not
be-
discipline.
Yeah, discipline physically and mentally. You know, sorry, I had to insert that joke in there.
No, I appreciate it. Oh,
And Matt can say that because he has
Robbie,
diabetes.
Robbie.
Yep, I am a diabetic.
What? Wait,
allowed to
Go
say
ahead
that.
and out him. Okay, I guess we just gotta welcome a new group of the podcast. We appreciate you being here. Rob, do you want to tell the best joke that came out of episode 3, or should I?
Which one?
You know what I'm talking about. The one you
Yeah,
sent me.
yeah.
Don't try to play coy. The one you sent me about the galaxy far, far away and the dads.
Oh, that.
That one.
Yeah, there was a Not the Bee article.
Not the B, not the PC, and that's not appropriate, guys.
Yeah,
if you're easily offended, jump ahead 10 seconds. This is a fantastic joke. It's not great.
I was trying to find the picture of it again.
All right, so
But
it's from a post. I have it right here. I saved it to my phone. I was like, I'm gonna mention it on the podcast. It's so funny.
oh yeah,
Yeah, I've read about
Even in
1,000
the galaxy
replies.
far, far
There
away.
you go.
Yeah, because it said he went through like a ton of different
Reviews.
reviews on
and
Rotten
replies.
Tomatoes and like picked that one out.
So the worst one is from Hieroglyphics 87.
But it's sad that Disney just showed us that even in a galaxy far, far away, black children still don't have fathers. I was like, damn.
Dude, I was like, it was the most savage fucking thing I've ever read in my entire life. I was like, oh no. Oh no, that's so bad.
On a lighter side, my favorite meme is the one that you sent me, and it's Jesse Plemons from Civil War. And
Oh, yeah.
But we're Star Wars fans.
It was
Okay.
like, okay.
What kind of Star Wars
fans
fans
are you? I mean,
I sent that
fits
to
with
all
the-
my friends.
It kind of fits with the back and forth going on today.
It really does.
It really does. And
What-
so
what
I want to
kind
say,
of Star Wars
when,
fan are you?
since we're still doing broad overviews and back and forth, I initially put out some pretty positive comments about episode 3. And I want to say it's all about the framing and the expectation. I was told via leaks that it would just be 2 women scissoring, creating the Force, and ruining Star Wars. And I had just come off of watching Doctor Who in their Bridgerton episode called Rogue, right? So the Doctor is kissing and making out with an intergalactic bounty hunter. And then I just come over here and it's a couple lesbians not scissoring, not kissing. And I'm like, well, that's kind of tame. Like, so overall, I was like, this isn't, I mean, it's definitely the gayest Star Wars by definition. But I was like, as far as what's being shoved down my throat the past 6 months to 3 years, barely gay at all, especially when I went to the boys next.
I guess,
right?
they got it all out of the way in the first couple episodes.
No. From what I've heard that the episode 4 isn't much better than episode 3. But everyone's focusing on episode 3 right now. But initially, I was pretty positive because my expectation was just so low. I was like, I'll probably enjoy this as much as I'll enjoy, being, gay sex.
Well, I guess.
And I enjoyed it
expectations
probably
already so low.
a little bit more. But on rewatch, since the baseline was corrected and I knew what I was going to be looking out for, I was able to actually just watch the show as I watched the show. And it is for anyone who really likes this, I implore you to go back and rewatch this and take actual notes, right? Like, be scholarly about this because this writing is groundbreaking bad. It breaks every plot point at every line. It doesn't make any sense. It's like they had a writer's room of 6 people, and each of them were in charge of making up one line. They just went round table until they came up with 10 scripts or however long this show is.
So let's just look at episode 3, for instance. There's several questions that need to be answered, which won't be answered, and just shows to lazy story writing. So they're on this planet in this huge stone fortress on top of a mountain that they're hiding from the Jedi from.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to that later. But they're on this super fortress on a planet that
Brindok.
you're like, wow, this coven must have been here for like hundreds of thousands of years and built this whole thing. No, we find out 2 minutes later that they are fleeing the Jedi for some unknown reason because possibly they do the dark side, but the dark side's now good. It just gets very convoluted. But
She
so they
says
found this random fortress on top of this mountain, on top of a random planet, and established this coven, like this coven fled there.
Mm-hmm.
We won't talk about who they're actually, fleeing from, even though they slightly hint it's the Jedi, even though the Jedi find them within minutes because the Jedi are on an uninhabited planet and totally happen to cross them for no reason. So right there's questions. 2, when she's explaining, it's not the Force, even though she's hinted that some people might call it the Force, she explains the whole idea of the thread. And when you wield the thread, you tie yourself to somebody, and it's a bad thing. And then immediately afterwards, shows how to use the thread. Right? It's not a weapon. If you use it, you're gonna tie yourself to this person. Let me show you how to force push.
Yeah.
Right? And then when she gets upset about her horrible kids that she's raised are not paying attention, she attacks them.
Shoves them on the ground.
Physical abuse.
Right.
Yo, that kid was so close to banging her head on the corner.
Stairs.
The stairs, yes, Robbie.
I saw that.
So
that
close
was
to death.
That was the first thing I noticed was like her head almost hit that sharp stair.
So close.
Using the thread is a bad thing. You should never use it. Immediately uses it.
Immediately.
Right?
And practices and then uses it against her own kids. What the hell? Also, sexism much, please? It's called the thread.
It was because of that look from the other one, whatever her name was.
Darth Spiky Face.
That she's too lenient.
Yeah, you can definitely tell who's the mom and the dad in the relationship. But come on, guys, can we stop the sexism for a second? It's called the thread. It's a bunch of women and they're threading, aka sewing shit. Like, come on. Can we pick a lane? Do we love women, or are we gonna be sexist pigs when we're writing this shit? Come on, Disney. I don't know what to react to. Matt, go on.
Then we have the ceremony, and it's literally one of the worst.
No, the worst.
Scenes
The worst written
I've
scene
ever seen in my life. And it's just super fucking awkward. But the Jedi come in, and she immediately attacks the one Jedi. Like, the thread is a bad thing. We should never use it because you tie yourself to their fate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then immediately uses it.
Like whatever she did to him.
So she like says one thing, and then it's totally through her actions and through everything completely contradicted. Not even 5 minutes later.
Like the whole lightsaber.
So
thing.
in the ceremony,
and then,
or sorry, not the ceremony, but before the ceremony, when they're talking about everything, the Black Mama leader, you're talking about contradictions, right? Bro, she's talking about how they're being hunted down because some consider their powers to be unnatural, and then, bitch, you made unnatural life. You made human beings without a male, right? And then the next line, right? Her literal next line is that they're blessed with a miracle. A fucking miracle. By definition, a miracle is unnatural, right? So to be like, oh, boo-hoo, we're victims. Some people are hunting us down because they think we're unnatural. Meanwhile, we're being unnatural and we're admitting it we're calling it a miracle. Like, a miracle is the definition of unnatural. The writing.
They're introducing society to the idea of copulationless procreation, which will be the way once men are fully neutered.
So here's the thing, though. I'm gonna go into this deep dive.
100 years.
Because the whole
10 years.
reason why Anakin is so, I don't want to use the word special, but is so big in the Star Wars universe is because of this idea of what the Catholics call immaculate conception.
Mm-hmm,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, there is no father. He was just created. He is the one that will bring balance to the Force. And ultimately he does by killing most of the Jedi and then dying.
Yes.
Which ultimately brings balance, even though through evil means. And so his whole storyline is based off this idea that because he is an immaculately conceived person, he brings balance to the Force. And now with this, how you can just make Force babies now, you totally undermine that whole story, whether I like it or not, right? because Lucas steals a lot from Hinduism, from Buddhism, from Catholicism, from a lot of religions, and takes these, stories, these fables, these parables, whatever you want to call them,
Sci-fi
and wheels them into his story. And Anakin, being immaculately conceived, is the one that brings balance to this force. And here in episode 3, we have totally undid that. That is these writers doing what D&D did in Game of Thrones, right? It undermines the fandom, and then they blame the fans for being upset. It's not our fault for writing shitty stuff and destroying your fandom. It's your fault for not getting it.
Warhammer's getting a lot of that too.
They didn't.
Oh yeah, with the female custodes. Yeah, we won't go there.
All right, no. Comment down below, because I am up to date with this Warhammer shit. So if you guys want us to talk about it, or you want to talk about these female space marines and this backtracking we're doing, I'm down for it. But not this episode.
I have one
Go for it.
counter perspective.
We love it.
From breaking the and this is kind of like a neutral kind of thing. So the writers and they're all artists, right? They have they probably wear funky sunglasses. They probably have cool hats and tie-dye t-shirts, whatever.
Sure.
So they're artists, right? So they have a modality of thinking, and an artist's impetus is to take risks, right? Because there's, without risks, there's no reward, that kind of thing. But also, maybe they're taking these artistic risks because they think that possibly the reaction will be like double good, like double plus good.
You mean like
Orwellian speak? But you know what I mean? Like they're taking a greater artistic risk and with the hopes that the audience will react
I will say this
favorably to a greater degree.
I would buy that if the subtlety wasn't like a pinhammer to the face.
And the reboots,
all right,
and the remakes.
Okay,
all Disney's doing is rebooting and remaking. Also, guys, audience at home, spoiler alert. I guess we're not going to cover episode 2. Fuck episode 2. We're getting to the gayest episode. I don't even want to talk about. Yeah, I don't want to talk about episode 2. Let's just. I'm sorry. We're skipping to episode 3.
Jumping right into
yeah, we're sorry.
Disclaimer.
Yes.
I fully approve, and I love seeing representation in shows and movies. I would have no problem seeing 2 gay Jedi making out in this show.
I mean, please.
What I hate is this. The way they're writing it, as if they're being very subtle about like what they're really talking about here, and how they're trying to challenge your beliefs. They're not hiding what they're really saying, and they're finding out that this isn't working, and then they're getting upset at the fans for being upset, and they're using this. Because it's an LGBTQ plus show, you're just being this.
Yeah,
and
you're just being
frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it'd actually be a very interesting story to tell, because you would think in a galaxy far, far away that's much more expanded than we are, that this would be accepted in society.
Whoa, no. This is expected here. Here. You put 30 girls,
you would expect it.
All-girl schools, don't tell me you don't get some lesbians from an all-girl school. Go on. I'm saying, in a galaxy far, far here, you put 30 women together.
Before, with parables on racism, because the Empire was super fucking racist. The reason why Thrawn is so badass is because he's one of the few aliens that actually made it through the ranks. He made it all the way to Maw. He's one of the few. So we've tackled, racism before, and I would have no problems tackling, LGBTQ issues in Star Wars. But the thing is the way they are writing it, and it's not thinly veiled at all. It's like I said, it's like a pinhammer to the face, and then saying like, "Oh no, you're just not getting it, man." No, I get it.
Yeah, I get your message.
You're not being
see
subtle.
You're not.
And the show has become about this, not about like, I don't know where I'm going with this. Not to go on a rant, but
I think you're going on the path of truth. You're absolutely right. When agenda takes precedence over the plot or the storyline, it leaks through into the final product.
All right.
You could throw some of that in there if you just make a good story.
That's exactly what I was saying. So we had a
look, Major, your favorite movie, Avengers Endgame. the final
on.
battle scene. We have, Wakanda. We have, we have women. We have aliens.
Girls
we
Get
have
Done, everyone.
like not mutants,
Mhm.
but we have all these different groups there at the final battle,
Mm-hmm.
and it's done well.
They even
where
had
I'm
like a little
yes.
all women walk,
Yeah.
like slow
Yep.
mo walk out.
Well, you have the
Okay.
Wakanda. Why am I
Not
blanking on their
walkout,
name?
but-
The female warriors who guard T'Challa.
Ahsoka?
Dora
I'm
Milaje.
looking-
The
Yeah.
Dora
Dora
Milaje.
Milaje.
I know who
You know,
you're talking
yeah,
about, but-
Dora Milaje, yeah. We have this representation that I love, and it's done in a correct. Yeah, I don't want to say there's a correct or
No,
incorrect manner.
Black Panther
but
1
it's
was
done in
so
a manner
good.
That's like, it was done really
Black
well.
Panther was awesome.
Black Panther
It's
2
done really well.
sucked.
And then you have this. I don't know how else to like explain it. Then you have this.
Mhm. So I think I can
Better
explain.
way.
I think I
What
can
a
explain
lot
to
of
where you
people
Matt.
have been annoyed about, but now it's just becoming more and more obvious to everybody else.
So earlier in our group chat, we don't like to talk, or I try not to talk about podcast stuff on the group chat because I think that just robs us and the audience from organic conversations. But we had a friend in the group chat, not on the podcast, ask about this. He said, like, where do you draw the line at this gay media, DI, whatever you want to call it, woke agenda, whatever. And I said children, just children. Merck's, that Merck guy's in the news again, so that seems like a really good answer. But then I sent him, obviously children, right? But I sent him a more nuanced answer. And at first, my answer was intent, right? Like, I don't have a problem if you just want some representation, or it's a part of the storyline. And I'll tell you this, I especially make an exception. I especially make an exception on like mythical creatures, people who are like 1,000 years old, right? I get it. You smashed everybody. You might want to turn into, you were straight when you grew up, but you've smashed the hottest girls in the world. Now you're curious for other stuff. I've seen enough documentaries. I've read enough biographies to understand that kind of nuance. Fuck, I had a really good rant, and I went on a little bit of a tangent. I practiced this rant beforehand. That's a bummer and a half. Damn it. And now I got to write this down.
Lost track.
Yeah. Shit, what were we talking about? Dude, I practiced.
said,
I was pooping
like-
on the toilet, and I was practicing this all morning. What were we talking about? DI?
Like, not to say like there's correct way or incorrect way.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
But just like there's a way that you can sell it to the audience where they will consume it and not feel that they're being talked down to, and not feel that there's an agenda behind it. And I point out, like I said, to Avengers Endgame, there's a way where we can come to an agreement and root for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this.
I 100% agree. Right? It's not even about intent.
Which
I think
alienates
it's about.
people.
I think it's about suckage, right? I think look. Even the staunchest,
It's retaliatory.
manliest
what it
man
is.
loves a good musical, right? You can't help it. It's music. It hits the heart. It pitter patters. There's a dopamine released in your brain. Andrew Tate and the Liver King and Arnold Schwarzenegger probably could find a musical that they enjoy. The producers, if I'm being honest. It's the producers. They're all gay. But music just, it hits that heart. It hits that note for you. So I don't think it's about, look, if it's about intent, I'm a grown-ass adult. If you have a quote-unquote woke or gay agenda, you're not going to convince me that my wife's not hot, right? And as a parent, if you have one of those agendas, as a active parent, you're not going to get to my kids. So make your content. I don't give a shit about intent, actually. What I care about is crap. When I have to watch, so let's talk about like Rings of Power, right? Rings of Power was awful. I love Lord of the Rings, okay? I would love a phenomenal prequel, Rings of Power. I would love for Rings of Power to be on par with like Game of Thrones. That is what I'm really upset about. We are being robbed of
content.
I don't give a fuck about your agenda. We're being robbed of great television and subscription money, right? Like, imagine if Rings of Power was good. Like, dude, we'd still be talking and referencing how good the first season was if it was like Game of Thrones level. But instead, the writers put diversity and inclusion over plot and development. And so that's why it's one of the worst shows Amazon's ever put on. What were you saying, Rob?
Oh, yeah. Oh, damn, no, I lost my
So,
track.
I think another issue though too is Disney. It's Disney is the issue. They're trying to be more inclusive in the sense of more family friendly, more like we want to tell storylines that the kids can watch and the kids will enjoy. And so if you see like Book of Boba Fett, I feel is like very childish at times. The story writing, like those two kid actors, no offense, I know they're actual sisters, atrocious acting.
I thought they were the best actors of the whole series. Are you kidding me, Matthew? Matthew, what? They were the best actors.
They're pretty bad. They're pretty.
So what kills me is my favorite Star Wars film in the last whatever, and my favorite Star Wars show have been Andor and Rogue One, where they've taken this kind of gritty story and kind of took a little bit of that family friendliness out while like kept it in a little bit. And you know, we're telling this story. If we want to talk about this, you know, assassination murder mystery, we can't make it a family. We need to make it like a gritty crime noir.
Sure.
You know, we need to make it, you know, not this very polished set and everybody, you know.
That's what $180 million gets you.
You know what I mean? Like, we can't be. You can't tell this story in a family. I don't know how I'm trying to get to this point, but we're trying to appease too many audiences.
Yeah,
that is the issue. Is that
big
like,
one.
Wait,
if you want to tell the story, tell the
They're
story.
trying to appease the wrong Star Wars audience. I hate to correct you there. At first, I agree with you, but then I thought about it for a second. No. They're trying. If you did a demographic search of Star Wars fans and people who have action figures of Star Wars, people who have YouTube channels of Star Wars action figures, right? And then you look at that demographic, and then you look at the demographic of representation. In this this series, you're gonna see a mismatch and a misalignment, like Doctor Who I have to mention is a BBC publication, right? And last time I checked, most of England wasn't gay and black, right? So if representation matters, which I never thought it does, I don't need to see myself or a white man who's got a dad bod on the big screen to get into the movie or the character or the role or the story, right? But if those people who say representation matters, then where is my representation without being slaughtered on film? That's what I'm wondering.
Look, once again,
I gotta say earlier, I was gonna, well, it's off now, but like I was gonna talk about look at comedy movies now. Like, what was the last blockbuster comedy movie we?
Like Hangover Part 2 was like the last one.
Yeah, that was like the last big.
Jeez.
Comedy is struggling hard.
Wait, what
was directors and stuff are like
lady ballers?
They're afraid to say certain things. They're like.
Well, that's why all the Adam Sandler movies are on Netflix now, because he couldn't get anything greenlit in Hollywood.
Yeah, well, that's why lady.
Like for theatrical.
It's gotta go so many different people to get it out, and.
Well, I think just because Jack and Jill was a major bomb, it might have been like more financial than like a social.
Like most really
no. Adam Sandler's a scam.
Comedy movies would not make it today.
Not today.
Yeah.
Oh no, at all. You can't do American Pie. No, Adam Sandler's a scam, right? You know that he gets this mediocre C-level script in this big old budget, and then he hires all of his best friends, and then they shoot this on like Hawaii or some kind of like island vacation spot. Like when's the yeah,
just like they're on vacation while
he's just milking Netflix. This is all he's doing. He's not making comedy. No, the last real comedy was probably Lady Ballers on the Daily Wire, and then Hangover 2, because Hangover 3 was pretty bad.
I didn't see Hangover 3, but I was just like, what's
Have you
the
seen
point?
Lady Ballers?
I saw 1 and 2.
Yeah, because like 2 was just a remake of 1. It just in Bangkok.
Well, guess what number 3 is? Creativity.
Yeah.
It is fantastic.
But it probably made more money
Anyways.
than Hangover Part 2, right?
Probably.
Probably.
Just to get back to my rant about Rogue One, to finish
Yes.
kind of where I was going.
Yes.
Rogue One was a very inclusive movie. You had Guinevere O'Reilly as Mon Mothma. Our main protagonist was female. You have Jimmy Smith as Bail Organa. You have Riz Ahmed as Bodhi Rock. You have Forrest Whitaker as Saw Gerrera. You had Baze Malbus, I forget the actor's name. You had Chirrut Imwe, the character. You know, you had.
Yeah, but they're so forgettable. There's like no like standout characters. Like,
Are you kidding
even
me?
Andor-
Saw?
no,
Saw was
even
so good.
Andor-
Chirrut Imwe.
Yes.
How he's I am one with the Force.
What's the Force is one with me,
Oh,
and he
the
walks on the
Force
battle?
is
Yeah.
Get
Get out of here, Andor Forrest. Get out of here, man.
Yeah.
Get-
Nah,
So-
I didn't
so-
think. I thought all the characters were forgettable. I mean, like,
No.
But
okay,
then
Donnie
you have-
Yen. Donnie Yen was like, I think I just enjoyed him because I was a fan of his like martial arts movies.
It's,
So I was like,
you had-
okay, they didn't really do a whole lot with him. He was.
They actually showed the Mon Cal fleet. You know, this race of alien fish.
the Mon Calamari.
Sorry,
I forgot that.
yeah, Mon Calamari from Mon Cal. You know,
God.
so
Shout out to the Clone
not
Wars.
to say
Maybe
there's
the best
a
episodes on the
correct
Clone
way
Wars.
or incorrect way, but there's a way where I will buy into it and it'll be my favorite movie, and then there's this.
Well, can I tell you this?
Yeah.
This is just. This especially episode 3 just seemed to be like an amalgamation, just like writers were trying to pick and choose like their favorite allegories and references and like allusions. Like we start with like there's this tree with dangerous food that we can't eat. I mean, come on, that's one effing story. I mean, for those biblical scholars,
We're not
it turns
supposed
out
to
to
be
be a
around
lot.
thingies.
But like, yeah, she's talking like, oh, we can't eat this food. The food's dangerous on the tree. Like that's a clear allegory to like Adam and Eve. Except it's two sisters. It's not Adam and Steve. It's Eve and Louise. But I gotta say, they also took the plot line from Frozen. One sister wants to hang out. The other sister doesn't want to hang out. And maybe as a new dad, I'm just projecting the songs I've been listening to recently. But Osha is basically like, do you want to build a snowman? Or May's like, do you want to build a snowman? And Osha's like, get the fuck out of here. So I don't understand that. When we're talking about sets, we open up, these girls are in the forest. And then, their mom shows up and then, we see Saul or whatever. But most importantly, they're in the forest. Guys, don't rewatch this episode. Take my word. But if you want to rewatch it, because you shouldn't take my word, go back and rewatch it. Where is the forest? This forest is nowhere near this fucking mountain,
It's
right?
inside the mountain fortress.
It's not
Come on.
inside. It's not inside the mountain fortress. Don't you fucking gaslight me. You can't do that to me,
It's
right?
like on a
I went back on rewatch.
mountaintop.
Yes, it's a mountaintop. And by the way, where are the men who actually built this mountaintop? Because let's be honest, it wasn't. No. You're gonna tell me these 30 fucking coven women are just sculpting stone like that?
So this is no. So this is the point I made earlier with the questions. They hint that they just recently arrived. to this
Exactly.
fortress
So
because they're being persecuted and they're fleeing from their persecution.
ancient
So,
ancient aliens
Like
built
they
it,
just
and they
come across
okay.
this. So
Ancient
fortress,
alien
which has,
theorists
like, a
would
giant-
say.
which has like a giant server room or something that explodes. But anyways, 2 points.
That was so dumb.
One
that first
is
No. First off, I gotta say this: when they were doing that dumb scene, where it's like the girls were bickering and they were like trying to show like the thread, aka the force, and then they hear a random noise that never gets fucking explained at all, and then it's just like the white mom goes with the horny white mom goes and then looks at this vague fucking. I've got funny names for all of them, Rob. This fucking. Like dangling fucking like generator, and it's like, oh well, that was the dumbest scene of all time, so this must come important in the future, and it does, of course. But the writing is atrocious. Like
All right.
in my notes,
So-
I said they should have kept the AI in in their
They should have kept the writer strike going.
the writer's strike.
So-
Thank you. I'm not. I was gonna. I don't know where that bullet point is, but yeah, the writer's strike. Thank you, Tip.
To go back to the writing, right? We have these two girls who are so inseparable that one, when she's going to be a Jedi, the other one says, "If you go, I'll kill you."
Yes.
All right, because she doesn't want her to go. And instead of like giving her a chance to be like, you know, she tries to kill her by burning her journal or something. But that was crazy
like,
in and of
that
itself.
part just
But
didn't make
somebody
much
tell
sense
me,
to especially the
somebody tell me,
fire.
how the fuck, and I
It's
hate
all
to use such
stone.
solid language, how the fuck, no, I'm getting, not even the stone burning, how the fuck do all the women die?
There's no physical
Yeah,
bodily
burns his
harm.
journal.
They
She just
never
burns his
explained
journal,
that. They're just
and then
all on
and
the
then
ground.
Saul's like running. Saul's
yeah.
running, and he sees all these dead bodies. He's like, "Oh, a bunch of dead witches." And I'm gonna run. Like,
hey,
what the
hey.
fuck?
And she's
No
like, "Mama,
explanation,
Matt.
just,
Mama."
they're all
We were-
dead. Move on.
We were carbon monoxide poisoning, the silent killer. I don't know.
What is it that they have up north?
They
So
never
up
really
north,
explained that
is it?
at all.
It's radon. Radon. If you have a basement.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, is it radon? Is that what I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
Yeah, radon will silently kill you.
Yeah, because they're in a stone fortress in the mountains, so it's totally radon.
I actually had a CO2, carbon monoxide scare today, to be honest. I'm working on my HVAC unit, and the what do you call it? The carbon monoxide and smoke detector started going off, and it was like carbon monoxide, and I was
would
like,
actually talk.
yeah, it was like, I was like screaming out and like I was like, damn, dude, the silent killer. I was
Hey, you're onto something, because if the stone is on fire, and therefore the CO2 levels and the carbon monoxide and
I don't think. Look, I have seen a lot of street interviews. I understand that the youth of America is retarded, okay? But I think it goes up a generation, because not only are these writers so fucking bad at writing, but they have no idea how fire works. It's out in space, right? Now this little girl burns a small little book, and dude, these fucking writers want to be activists. They've never burnt a fucking thing in their entire life. A little tiny spell book or whatever, and then
or
the
just-
entire stone
Like, where they-
room's on fire. Are you kidding
or
me?
you know,
They-
just
Did they
write a
lace all the
scene
stone
earlier
with
on,
some kind of flammable sealant or something?
or just have a scene earlier on where you talk about magical journals and how they are tied by the thread, and if a journal is destroyed, everyone who you attach the thread to is in peril. So that way, if you burn the journal, therefore you're burning all the people because you're tied to by the thread. That took me all of 10 seconds to fucking think of.
That would have been so much better, right? But instead, they spent all that brain power trying to figure out this chant that they should have for the Ascension. The dumbest fucking scene of maybe all of cinema. The power of one, the power of two, the power of many. What the fuck does that even mean? The power of one, the power of two, the power of many. Yo, those women reminded me of the viral videos going around of like these fucking feminists in the forest,
God,
and they're screaming, they're smashing down trees. I'm like, look at these crazy fucking women.
They, like,
That's what this is.
And I think they paid
4,000.
to go out
I just
there
killed
and
Groot.
leave in the forest.
$4,000.
For what?
So,
Girls, you can come over to my house and beat my meat for like $100 if you want to.
boo.
Oh, fuck you. That was okay.
Yeah, that's all good. So two quick points. One is Jedi who commit suicide.
Oh no, beat my
What was
wood.
so
Fuck,
bad
beat
about
my
it
wood.
that
Not
he
beat my
saw
meat.
that
That's a
he-
bad pun.
That would he?
I meant wood. Fuck.
Sticks
So
are slamming on the ground.
Jedi Master
Yes.
who commit suicide. What was so bad that he saw that he wanted to live with such guilt to make himself into a
what
horse,
did he need
whatever?
forgi-
Yes.
Yeah,
What
did he
was
need
so bad
forgiveness
about
for?
that?
Yes.
But two, Saul, he says he
It looks
saw
great.
May die. All he saw was her fall.
And he did use the
And,
force to grab
Did they
her.
even-
And he
did
was
they even
so
explain,
certain.
like, how she lived?
And then, well, that's the
Maybe
point.
they
We
will in
see,
the next episode. I don't know if I'm even.
but he like has to like jump to save Osha, but like he can't like force grab either of them
Yeah.
to like
They'll-
save
they'll
the.
do
But all,
fast,
No.
though.
he is emphatic in episode 1 that he saw her die. He
But
is
then
not
just-
even
he's
near.
Wow, was he emphatic?
He's
Because
not
in the
even
next
near. He's
the
not-
next line, he was like,
Re-
maybe she's alive.
Rewatch that scene.
Uh-huh.
He's nowhere near to see her even fall.
No, he's not.
Right?
He's-
He comes running in,
Oh,
and
and sees-
OSHA falls,
sees her
and he
falling.
runs to save her.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't see May. Also, can we just talk about how
It didn't
much of
look
a
like she
bitch
was that
May
close
is?
to the edge either. When she started falling, and then suddenly she's like right by the edge. For him
Yeah,
to
yeah.
grab
She's
her.
on a bridge in the middle of a thing, or a third of the way over,
And then
she's right
suddenly
next to the
she's like
edge.
right by the edge to be grabbed. I don't know.
All right, TV timeout. Not podcast timeout, TV timeout. Spoilers for episode 1 of The Boys. Kimiko gets her arm ripped off, and so she's growing a baby arm really fast.
Yep.
And she
mentions
jumps.
the joke.
She jumps out of a window, and Starlight tries to grab her, and she can't grab the baby arm, and she splatters on the ground.
Well, spoilers. I haven't watched it.
I know. It's that. Yeah, there's 3
It's like
episodes.
5
You're
minutes in.
yeah, you're totally fine. Yeah. Okay. All right.
That does sound funny. Though.
Oh my god, it's so good. But look, all right, back to
Let's wrap
Acolyte.
this up because
She said,
we've burned a hole through this all.
"Yeah, we have." So like the little
the
girls
hole.
are talking, and she's
Burn
like,
through it like stone walls.
"Osha and May, yeah," but not insert Obi-Wan Kenobi reference. Anyway,
I think my final opinion of this is
yes,
this is obviously not a show written for me.
it's not a word for
I'll buy
anyone.
that. But it's not written for
like
the
to see-
demographic they are trying to hit. Is
Yeah,
the other issue.
Taxpayers.
My kids checked out 5 minutes in. They're like,
Yeah.
whatever.
What is this
You know,
demographic? Who is this for? This is for
I
the
have not
20% of people who are still voting for Joe Biden, despite him standing like a statue while everyone else around him is dancing the music, and he's just
Well,
like,
did you see the one that just recently came out of the dude who parachuted
Here's
down?
where we get into the fun.
"No, we're not getting into it. We're just gonna."
Dude.
No, this is
Yeah,
actually
these. Yeah, I've
All
seen-
right,
the video.
fine.
mentioned.
We'll
You're
be.
telling me an old person does old person things? So Trump, who is now currently older than Biden was when he first
That
ran,
sounds-
Okay, all right.
not
So
doing the same way.
we'll
if
be-
you listen to
RFK
both of them talk,
Jr.,
there
who
is a
has-
big difference.
you're right.
has
We'll
way
be
more-
unbiased, Matt. Matt, we'll be unbiased. I'm gonna
Yeah.
include the clip of Biden
Let's
standing
cut
there
this all
still.
out. Let's cut this all out.
No. I'm gonna include the clip of Biden standing there still. I'll include the clip of Trump giving dual hand jobs at all of his rallies, and then I'll include the clip of RFK doing push-ups in his 70s. I feel like that's a very unbiased
No,
approach
no,
of
do the
everyone.
brainworms. I'm kidding.
That
We'll
all
cut
right,
this
are
all
we gonna
out.
be disablleists or not? All right, I'll cut it. Fine. Are we gonna be
Cut it out.
disableists or not? The brainworms really cut it out. Yeah, it's like okay. Hold on, let me make a note here.
The
All right.
video I was talking about, like he's like the dude parachutes in, they're all like clapping.
Yeah,
for him
he's
and
looking the
stuff,
wrong
and
way,
then
and the
he just
Italian minister has
walks
to come in.
off.
And,
I haven't seen this at
Yeah,
all.
So you have
so
seen it?
what
No, I-
it was is he was going to talk to.
No.
the
I
other
don't know.
guy,
Matt
and
Crone.
That wasn't supposed to be the guy he was supposed to be talking to. Anyway,
Yeah.
back to the podcast.
Back to the podcast.
All
Yes.
this
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Look lost to me. I don't.
So, final opinion of this show. Once again, it is not hitting the demographic it wants to hit. I feel.
Well,
And I feel there's a lot of
Humans. People who like Star Wars.
So-
Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
they're getting
Bleeding
to the point-
hearts.
they're getting- well, that's the thing. That's my point. Is they're getting to the point where they're blaming the fans for not liking it. They're not blaming the writing, and I forget who it was, but she tweeted out that who would want to act in Star Wars if this is the vitriol that they're going to
Oh
get.
yeah. Who was that?
You know, talk about the Squid Games actor, how like he learned English to do this. Nobody's attacking him as
Mhm.
an actor. Dude, he is actually one of the saving graces of this show.
yeah, he's like the only
but-
decent thing. Yeah.
How?
They're getting to the
One
point-
second,
they're
how
getting to the
good
point
was
where
his-
They're attacking,
DH. His DH was really good. Go on.
but they're getting to the point where they're grasping at straws and they're attacking the fandom for not liking the show. And Star Wars fans are notoriously bad to appease in the first place.
Mhm.
And you know this going in. So you have to have writing in a show and a movie that actually is good. You can't just throw shit writing and then get
You
mad
can't.
when
No.
everybody hates it.
No one hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans. That is not a challenge. That is a call to action to create great Star Wars. I just want to point out real fast, as we're all doing a round circle and we're going to finish up this episode. While we were recording this episode, the podcast, the Rotten Tomatoes score dropped to 18%. It dropped all.
It was 20% this afternoon.
Yeah, now it's down to 18. It dropped while.
To 18 now? Wow.
Yeah, while we're recording, this small little episode, incredible. All right, so and then we'll go to Robbie, and I'll close it off.
Oh, it's at 19 now.
Yeah.
Is it? Let me refresh again. Oh. Whoa, back up to 19. What the hell?
So really quick, my wife thinks I'm insane because I want to go out and buy a VHS player because I want to introduce my kids to Star Wars, watching the THX enhanced VHS original, not the special edition, not the special edition DVDs, and not even the originals, but the THX enhanced VHS copies, because that's the best version. If we go into the idea,
and stuff.
I will say,
Matt, so the idea that Star Wars fans hate Star Wars the most, that's the type of debate I get in. Like, which Star Wars I'm going to introduce my kids to. So
the original. I will say, Matt, when you get your VCR, look on the back of it. Make sure it has the surround sound audio outputs.
Well, for THX enhanced, you need it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. If you just like go and get like a $5 from the yard sale, and it's like, red, white, and yellow. Do you guys remember red, white, and yellow? Comment down below if you're even old enough for red, white, and yellow. Guys, you remember the 360? Red, white, yellow, blue, green, and whatever the last color was? And it was like 720p.
It blew my mind.
And then PlayStation was like, here's an HDMI cable. And you're like, oh, fuck, I messed up. But Halo's so good, it's worth it. It used to be Halo.
But PlayStation did it right with their name. 1 through 5.
God, dude.
That's so much simpler.
What were they even thinking?
What is Xbox doing with their names?
Oh my gosh! Like,
it's so confusing. Like talking to friends about which console you're.
You have the One, the S, the X. Oh, it's all the same generation.
Xbox One.
I'm out.
One X, Xbox Series X, Xbox.
I have to say, as a lifelong Xbox fan, get a PC.
Yeah,
I switched over to PC. PC is so much better. Just look, take the bullet. Take it. Eat the bullet. It's worth it.
It's definitely the pricier.
It's You need a new PC, and then look, and near Thanksgiving, Dell is going to offer you a 12 months interest-free credit card. Best Buy's going to offer you a 24 months interest-free credit card. It's worth it. Fuck the console. Get yourself a actual PC, and in the meantime, you can mine some Bitcoin. You can answer some emails. You can play some Helldivers too. Maybe if the patches are good. We'll see.
Got into mining, but only mined just enough to pay off the PCs.
And now
then it just wasn't really worth it once
they
paid it off.
Then you got in just in time before they switched from like proof of work to proof of concept or whatever. What were you saying, Matt?
that was right when it just
making
enough money.
You got it right underneath the gun. I was so impressed with that. That was so good.
Yeah, right when I paid off Dell there.
And this ultimately shows you once again how great this show is because we end the podcast on talking about different iterations.
What's that one's recap? I was going to tell you about Bitcoin and my PlayStation. Yeah. Forrest, final thoughts on the Acolyte? Because we are not going to cover this again until the season finale.
Not good. It was like the Room level bad.
No, the Room is so good. It's so bad. It's good. That there's a difference. There's a different level. This is just like bad. This is like, I don't know, molestation bad. This is like pedophile bad. There's like no good at it. It's bad.
I see. Well,
I feel like that's a terrible analogy to make. This show's not that terrible.
The room has a 53%.
But yeah, like people, the Room is so bad. People, I in college, I used to go once a year. And we would have a house party celebrating The Room. And we would all sit down and watch The Room, just terribly drunk, and make fun of it the entire time. It was a lot of fun. So there's a difference between like being so bad it's good and then just being so bad it's not watchable. Unlike this podcast, which is so good and or so bad it is watchable. So I would highly recommend.
We covered a lot of shitty shows that we stuck through the whole thing, but
No, this is the first one, except for Why the Last Man, and that was we got to episode 9.
DMZ? Did we ever do DMZ? That was horrible too.
No, we never touched that.
DMZ with Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, no, it's that bad. It was that bad.
Oh
no!
Okay,
Every show we've ever done, we've completed, except for Why the Last Man, because it really was so misogynistic. It was hurting our mental health as straight white men. So I gotta say, Acolyte, like this episode of this podcast is probably gonna be something like this Star Wars podcast is quitting Star Wars. Like I can't ask.
is this going to be the final nail?
I can't ask 4 of my closest friends in the world to fucking dedicate an hour of their life every week to this rancid content and then ask them to come on for another hour and a half to 2 hours and talk about how bad this content was. I can't do it. I can't be a good human being. Because we have the boys. We have the boys. Look, Salvation is here. We have the boys.
I'm looking forward to watching that.
We could have done reaction videos these last couple weeks instead of the Acolyte. But I did a little Google research, and it turns out it's really hard to do a reaction video when the majority of the people don't show their face. It would just be Robbie and I going like just making like weeboo faces or what. Wife. Yeah, exactly.
Hearing something here and there from them.
So I just want to say, comment down below what else you want us to cover. If you really want us to cover this, I will continue to watch it, and I'll finish up the season, and I'll do a quick review. Speaking of quick reviews, Matt,
well, if you're gonna watch it,
if you're
gonna watch it, I highly recommend don't watch it on Disney Plus. Watch it through other means. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yes.
Don't give Disney the eyeballs and the
view count. Don't give them the view count.
Way to vote.
I would
You
like
have to
to
vote
see
with your views.
what their viewer count looks like
So-
after episode 3.
Oh, don't worry. We will.
Are we able to get that data?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll get the
That out
data.
somewhere?
Yeah, and it comes on Twitter. I'll post it out next week, and we'll talk about it on the podcast. I'll grab that just for us to
'Cause
talk about.
I'm curious what it looks like between 3 and 4. 'cause
I'll
bet
tell
a
you
lot of
this:
people
in the
popped
first
off.
week, Ahsoka had 14 million views, and in I don't believe that for a single fucking second, but sure, let's go along with that. This doesn't come close to it, right? It's a third of the
Well,
views
a good-
5
a good
days
chunk
in.
of them are just gonna tune in because it's Star Wars, and they don't really know.
I have a
That
theory.
is-
I have a theory, a conspiracy theory that anyone who's still watching Star Wars actually has a podcast. Like there are so many Star Wars podcasts out there that it's like
dude, a good chunk of them are just people online just
so.
watching it for this.
Was it? The Acolyte had 4.3 million viewers for the first 2 episodes. Let's go ahead and cut that in half, and let's say whoever watched the first episode also watched the second episode. So let's say it's like 2 million viewers. Dude, 2 million people across the world did it. That might be 2 million podcasts. I'm not saying that's the case, and if that is the case, thank you so effing much for listening to this podcast. We really appreciate it.
All
But
the YouTube
dude,
channels.
yeah, dude. No, dude. Yeah, the reporters. Right, every major city, every minor city has like a movie critic in their newspaper that's dying. So I'm telling you, like, there's probably 50 actual fans who watch the show, and everyone else was just doing it for mining content.
Yeah.
It's at 3.9 on IMDb right now.
Oh yeah.
Last
I think
episode.
Should be at 6.9 because it is such a dick. It's dropped. Yeah, I put 4 on IMDb. Yep, so it's dropping
It'd go 18
as well.
to 19 at one point, but
So when I wrote these notes originally, Rotten Tomatoes score was 23% for the Acolyte. Now it's down. Well, it went down to 18, then it was 19. So incredible, guys. We really appreciate it. Do we have any final thoughts, final words? We are going to cover the boys' first 3 episodes next week. Star Wars. I'm sorry, George. I'm sorry. Star Wars Theory. I'm sorry.
Can't do it anymore.
I can't ask these people to do anymore. I can. I'm a stay-at-home dad. I watch tons of shit every day. I clean it up from my daughter's diaper. I will clean up this shit from your Disney diaper too. But I can't ask four of my closest friends to dedicate 2.5 hours of their precious lives every fucking week to this garbage, this absolute trash. So I'm not gonna do it. We're gonna switch over to the boys, and then we're gonna do a little Hot Dragon as well.
I would rather watch Wonder Woman 84 or 88 or whatever year it was
I actually still haven't seen
than this. I would rather watch Morbius than this.
Well, joke's on you. You can't watch 1984 Wonder Woman. It's so fucking dark. The guy they got from episode 3, season 8 of Game of Thrones. Yeah, no, it's so fucking dark. Yeah, I'll send you a clip later. It's very dark. For those, if we keep this in just in case, I'm gonna send the clip of the final boss fight with her and Cheetah. It's so dark. I feel like they just had no CGI budget or no time for the CGI, so they were like, let's just make it 90% dark, and then we'll put some clouds in there, and then you can't see anything that's happening.
You're talking about like visually dark.
Visually dark, yeah,
Okay.
No. Oh, if we want to talk about dark as in like bad writing, then yes, it's just as dark as no. The writing was just as bad in Wonder Woman 1984 as this. Guys, if you want to find this on YouTube, hopefully that's where you're watching us. We're Zeitgeist Zealots, but we love it. Wherever you're watching or listening to us, if you're listening to us on your podcast catcher of choice, we are Zeitgeist Zealots Podcast. On Instagram, we're Zeitgeist Zealots. And if you want to reach out to us on X, we are Z Zealots Podcast. Again, that's plural, Z Zealots Podcast. And then we have a TikTok. I haven't really posted it since the House passed that ban on TikTok. And, well, to be quite honest, I'm quite anti-China. So we were shadow banned from TikTok a long, long time ago in a galaxy near to my heart. Guys, this has been so painful. I really apologize making all of you guys asking you, begging you. I texted Robbie maybe 15 times in the last 10 days to watch episode 2 and 3. I was like, I know it's painful, buddy, but you got to do it. You have to suffer. Yeah.
Suffer for your art.
If I have to make Matt suffer, I'm going to make you suffer too. Guys, I really appreciate you guys watching us. If you're watching us to the end, hopefully you weren't suffering. If you were, then you better leave us a comment telling us
we
that.
Definitely fulfilled the original point of this podcast, was to make Matt watch shitty TV shows.
Shitty TV shows. Yep.
We definitely fulfilled that part of the bargain.
This is up there.
Yep. Well, that's our show. I'm Forrest.
I'm Major.
I'm Robbie.
And I'm Matt.
All right. I'll see you guys.
At that time, just right when he said that.